Hello friends, today is the 20th day of Flutter and today we are going to see checkbox and radio buttons. So basically a checkbox is a type of input component which holds the boolean value. It is a GUI element that allows the user to choose multiple options from several selections. While a radio button is a type of input component which holds a specific type of values. Like for that we can create multiple values and then after that we can select a particular value. Now in checkbox, a user can answer only in yes or no value. A marked or checked checkbox means yes and an unmarked or unchecked checkbox means no value. While in radio button we are selecting a particular value from a different options. So in that we can select only a single input, while in checkbox we can select multiple options. Now in checkbox we are having one square box in which after clicking it we get a right tick. While in radio button we are having one circular button and on clicking that the color of that button changed. So let's jump to the coding section and let's see how to implement it. So here is our app. Now we are just going to remove this container and we'll implement material app. Now the home will be scaffold and just hit Ctrl and S. Now we will create app bar. Now we'll give title, wrap it inside text widget, that is checkbox and radio button. So just hit Ctrl and S. Now we will remove this debug banner and we'll make it false. Now just hit Ctrl and S. Now we will create body of our app. So inside this I'm going to specify one container, and in container the child will be column widget. So we can create multiple child. So for that we have to use children. Now the first one will be checkbox. So we can use this checkbox widget to create checkbox. So just hit Ctrl and S. Okay, we haven't specified any state. First of all, just remove it or let it be. First of all, we are going to create two variables or one variable for checkbox. So it is the first checkbox, so we will create first box and we will specify it by default false. So here is our first variable, that is first box, which we will pass to our first checkbox and we will specify its value. So now let's jump to this. Now we'll specify its value as an on change. Now here we have created a stateful widget. Why? Because we are going to use set state method. So for using this set state method, our app should be of stateful widget. So just we are going to save this value inside our variable. Now just hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see here is one checkbox. Now what we are going to do, we are going to give it some heading. We will create one first. Okay. We will create one heading text and inside this we will specify some text like hobby and just hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see here is the hobby tab. Now we will just give some padding and margin to our app. So the padding should be 20 from all sides. Now inside this, the first hobby will be just wrap this checkbox inside one row. So now the text will be painting. Now you can see one text is there before this. Okay, just remove this padding. We are getting it at center. So we are also going to wrap it inside row. The first row will be having hobby. Now just give some padding. Okay. Just hit Ctrl and S. Now the first hobby is painting. Similarly, we will create multiple rows for the hobby. So second one can be singing, dancing, or anything. So this is the second one. Now we will just remove this all to only, and we will just make it top 20, left 20. I just hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see. Now as we have created second checkbox. So for that again we have to create one variable for that is second box, and by default if we make it true by default, then the box will be checked. So instead of this first box we are going to use second box, and instead of this also we are going to make it second box. So now you can see, as we have specified the second box boolean variable as true, so by default the singing checkbox is getting tick mark. So we will just make it false, so that by default it doesn't contain any value. So now just hit Ctrl and S. Now okay, we have to again restart our app so that it can be loaded from the main function. Now you can see both the checkbox are unchecked. Now we can also use some other property of this checkbox, like check color. So we can give the color of our checking, like here you can see the the tick mark is getting red color. Now similarly we can give some active color also, like now just hit Ctrl, and now you can see this box is having green color, that is active color, and the tick mark which is check is having red color. By default it is the checkbox is having blue color and the tick mark is having white color. So we can change its color by using this property. So by this is the one widget through which we can create checkbox, and one other one is so we can checkbox list style. This is the second widget through which we can create a checkbox. So for this we are going to specify some title. So we can use some text inside this only. So it will be like hey, what and it will contain, we can also specify some subtitle also. Before that we will use the previous variable only. So we can specify the value, and we are going to use the first box for this, and on change inside this we have to set the value inside the first box. So just this dot first box equal to value. So now just hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see here is one text, hey what's up, and it is having one checkbox. Now if we click on this painting checkbox will also be checked. Okay, okay. So as we are having we are using same variable in both the two, we are not able to change the value. Now again we can give some subtitle like fine or something else, and we can also give some icons. So for that we can also specify also use this property secondary, and inside this we can specify the icons. So icons dot okay hello. So for hand we are not having any symbol, so we will use anything like call or something else. So here you can see, now you can see the value is changed. So here is one icon and here is the subtitle. So now you can see when we will just click it, we again okay, why our value hasn't been changed? Because we haven't specified the set state. So just cut it from here, use the set state method and paste it inside this. Now just hit Ctrl S. Now you can see the value is getting changed, and as we are using same variable for both painting checkbox as well as this checkbox list style, so if we check any of this, both will be affected. So if you do not want this kind of thing, just make separate variables for all of that. So this was all about the checkbox. Now we are going to create radio buttons. Now for radio buttons, first of all we have to create one list. So we are going to create one enum list of gender, and inside that we will specify male, female, and the third one is prefer not to say. Okay, to say. Now there should be no space between this, so we have to use some we have to use underscore to separate them. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create one variable of this gender inside our app state. So gender is equal to, now we will by default we can specify some value also, or we can specify some we can make it null also. So we are going to create one. Now for that we are going to use list style, and inside this we will give some leading text that will be male for first. Now we can add some, okay, in title we can give the text male, and in leading we can use the radio button. So just cut it from here and paste inside this. Now here we can use the radio button. Now inside this radio button, what we are going to do, we are going to specify the value, and that will be by default gender dot, okay, gender dot male. Now the group is gender. Now also we have to specify the on change. Now here we have to use this gender value, and inside this we're going to use set state. And now this, okay, this dot gender should be equal to the value. So similarly we can create multiple list style. So just copy it from here. As we have defined 3 values inside the gender enum, so we are going to create 3. Okay, now nothing else we have to do. Okay, that's done. Now we have, okay, the title we haven't specified. Okay, we can change it from here, female. Now here we are going to use prefer not to stay. Not to say. Okay, just remove it from here. Okay, P was capital, that's why we were getting that error. Now we will change this text as prefer not to say. Now as in this gender we have specified, okay, okay, in this gender we have specified the gender dot male, so it by default it will be checked, or we can say it will be, okay, we are having some error, we will see. Okay, we haven't imported anything by default. It's now just hit Control and S. Now you can see here we are having 3 radio buttons. We can select any of this. We can select any one at a time, not 2 or not multiple one like we can do in checkbox like this. So this was all about the radio buttons and checkbox. Hello friends, today is the 21st day of Flutter, and today we are going to see progress bar and snack bar. So basically a progress bar is one kind of indicator which is used to indicate how much progress is done on a particular uploading, downloading, installation or file transfer process. So we can show this type of things by using the progress bar indicator. Now the second one is snack bar. So snack bar is used to display some short type messages for which purpose something is used. So for that we can use snack bar. Snack bar is very similar to toast which we have already seen in our previous session. So we will see and work on these 2 widgets today. So let's jump to the coding part. So here is our basic app. So just we are going to add body to our scaffold. Now for that we are going to create different. Now first of all we will see progress bar. So for that we have to create this stateful widget, and the first one will be linear progress bar. So basically we are having 2 type of progress bar. One is linear progress bar and second one is circular progress bar. So For that, what we have to do, we have to create one boolean variable, that is loading, and by default it will be false. Now inside this container we will create one child that will be, okay, instead of this container we will create scaffold, and inside that we will define body, and inside body we will create one column. So now in this column, first one will be, okay, we have to create children. Now we will first create one container, and here we will create the child. Now if loading, like whenever we want, like a conditional statement, so at that time we can use if else condition, or we can also use the ternary operation. So here we are going to use ternary operation. So if loading is true, then we will use linear progress indicator, and if it is false, then we are just going to print one statement that please click to download, upload, transfer, install, anything we can specify. So please click to download or upload, anything if which you want. So here is one statement. So if this loading is true, then this linear progress indicator will be called, and if it will be false, then this text will be appeared. So what we are going to do now, we are just going to create one button. So for that we can use any button. So normally, or we can say, okay, here is one raised button. Inside this we are going to create one child. Inside this we are going to specify one text download. Now inside this inside this raised button, we have to specify the on pressed attribute, otherwise it will be disabled by default. And we are going to give some color, that is color dot blue. Now just hit Ctrl and S. Okay, okay. Inside this body we have to call our linear progress bar. So now it's done. Now you can see here is one text and the download button. Why this text is appearing, this please click to download, because by default the value of loading is false. That's why this condition is not satisfying. So if loading is true, then this linear progress indicator will be called, but if it is false, then this text will be called. So as we can see, the by default value of loading boolean variable is false. That's why this text is being called. So now when you will click on download, nothing will be called. Why? Because in this on pressed button we haven't specified anything. So now what we will done, okay, now what we will do, that is we will specify loading is equal to, if loading is false then it should become true, and if it is true then it should become false. So now just hit Ctrl and S. Now just click on download. Now you can see nothing is happening. Why? Because the changes haven't made yet. Why? For seeing the changes, first of all we have to just hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see one linear indicator is visible at the top of our body. Here you can see that, and if you click this download again, then after you again you have to hit Ctrl and S. Now you can see the loading value become false, and now this text is appearing. So as of now we have to we have to enter Ctrl and S to load the uh, uh, to call this on pressed function. So to avoid this, what we have to do, we have to use the set state method. Inside this we have to specify this loading. Now before that, I will just align this container at center. So just Control X. I'm going to use this center widget. Now inside this, just use child property and we are going to specify this container. Now just hit Control and S. Now you can see here, here our container is at center, and now we are just going to give some padding. So edge, okay, we can also give some, okay, instead of padding, I will give margin. So margin dot all, and inside this I will specify some 150 margin. Now you can see here is our text and here is our download button. Now just hit Control and S. Now you can click on this download button and can see the linear progress indicator. So this is the linear progress indicator. We can also create circular progress indicator. So for that, again we will create one new class, so that can be stateless or stateful, as we are not going to use this set state method. For using this, whenever you want to use this set state method, your widget should be stateful. In stateless, you can't have this method. Like here we are having, okay, I have again created stateful widget, so I am going to create stateless widget. So this will be circular progress bar. And here again we will, okay, just return one container. Inside this container, what we are going to specify, one child, that will be circular progress indicator. And inside this we are going to specify some, we can specify the color, also we can specify the stroke width. The stroke width should be 2, and the value color or anything like that we can give colors dot green. Let's see. Okay, this value color is not for that purpose, so we will replace it. Now just hit Control and S. Okay, we haven't called this circular progress bar yet, so we will call this over here instead of this linear progress indicator. Just hit Control and S. Now you can see here is our progress indicator. So to make it at center, now we will just cut it from here and wrap it inside the center widget. Inside the center widget, we have to create one child property, and inside that we have to specify this container. Now just hit Control and S. Now you can see here is our progress indicate circular progress indicator at the center of our page. Now you can see by default the color of this circular progress indicator is blue. So now you can change it by using this, okay, background color property, and you can specify it by that, and you can choose any of the color like green or something else. So now you can see as the whole is green and the stroke will of 2 of 2 width is 2 pixel is having blue color. So this is all about the progress bar, which is linear progress bar and circular progress bar. Now we are going to see snack bar. So for that, again we will create one class snack bar. So inside this again we are going to just, okay, as we already discussed that snack bar is just like tools, so it will by default the message will be shown at the bottom of our page, and it will have some information on, we can say, notification type. So for that we will create raised button. Okay, the child will be raised button, and on clicking that raised button the message will be shown. So the text will be like this is snake bar or snack bar. Now we have to specify the on pressed property, otherwise by default it will be disabled. And we are going to use the color property to change the color. Okay, we are going to use blue color. Just okay, we have to call this or inside this body, so we will remove this. Okay, now it's done. Now just hit Control and S. Now you can see here is our raise button, and it is not disabled as we have already specified the on press property. Now we are just going to make it center, so just wrap it inside center widget. So just use the center widget, and we have to create the child for that. First just specify the semicolon, after that just paste it. Now just hit Control and S, and you can see also you can instead of this using this center widget, you can specify the alignment and alignment dot center, like alignment dot center. So the purpose of both this property, or we can say this at widget, is same. Now just hit Control and S, you will have the same thing. If you just remove this, now you can see this is at the top left corner. Now just add this property. Now it will be at center. So whenever you want your child to be placed, whenever you want that the child of this container to be placed at specific position, at that time you can use this alignment property. Alignment property is applicable only to the child of this of the container. Now inside this on pressed property, we are going to specify one variable, that is message, and we are going to use the snack bar. So here is our snack bar. Now inside this snack bar, the first we will use is content. So content is basically the message which will be shown. So here is this. So the text will be, this is notification. So here, now to call this, what you have to do, you have to, okay, inside this on pressed, no, there is our on pressed attribute. Okay, we have to call it here. So scaffold dot off dot, now we have to show our snack bar. For showing our snack bar, we have to call the variable, and now just hit Control and S. Now on clicking this, you will be having this notification. Now as you can see, uh, this notification is for some time, so we can also specify the duration of this message, for how many seconds it should be visible. So for that we can use this duration property, which is basically used to specify the duration, and for that we can use this duration widget method. Inside this we can specify days, hours, minutes, second, millisecond, microsecond, anything which we want. So like if I want my message to be shown for 10 seconds. Just specify this 10 inside this duration. Now it will be visible for 10 seconds. Now also some other properties are like actions. So we can specify the actions like uh, whatever, like if we want some uh, button to be called, or some action type of action, whenever we want some action to be performed on clicking the message, at that time we can use this action attribute, and inside this snack bar action we can specify the label, on press, disable text color, and anything we want. So this is the other property, and we can see what the property are provided by this snack bar by just hitting Ctrl and P. So you can see these are the properties that are provided by this snack bar widget, that is key, content, background color, elevation, shape. We can also give the shape to our snack bar. We can specify the behavior. We can specify the actions that are to be performed. We can specify the duration, for what duration, how much duration the message should be visible, and the snake, okay, snack bar duration, okay, that's the same thing for duration, and the animation, how should be it should be animated, and on visible property. So these are the property that are provided by this snack bar widget. So this was all about the progress bar and snack bar. Thank you and have a nice day.